absolutely right, and that's what this slide tells about. So, what is economics? A social science of how limited resources are used to satisfy maximum human wants. A social science of how limited resources are used to satisfy maximum human wants. Now, I can ask you a question. I can ask you a question. And that question is why there is a subject called economics. Suppose I'll be saying that there should not have been a subject called economics. But I'm not right in saying so because there is a subject economics and it has some benefits, must be having some benefits. So when I say or when I ask this question, why have we got this subject called as economics, or why there is a subject called economics, or how this subject economics has evolved over a period of time. Now, the answer to the question is known to all. All of you know the answer to the question. All of you know the answer to the question I just raised, and I just had three variants of the same question: why there is a subject called economics, or how economics has evolved as a separate branch of studies. So similar kind of questions we can always ask, and the answer I just told you, the answer is known to all of you know the answer. So can anyone respond why there is a subject called economics? Suppose I'll say there should not have been a subject called economics, so how are you going to counter me? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
The question is, I am saying there should not have been a subject called economics. Okay. So, do you agree? If yes, then fine. If no, then why? Why are you going to counter me?
Because everyone should have some basics of financial knowledge and a basic knowledge of economics.
Right. Correct. Anyone else want to respond? Okay. You see, let me, since this is the first class, let me tell you.
Sir, it deals with demand and supply.
It deals with demand and supply. Right. Okay. Correct. You see, definitely the two answers that I got, they're absolutely right. I'm not saying they're wrong, but perhaps what I expected, or perhaps what you should know, you know this already, I have already told. What you must have realized is that I was expecting, or let us go to the starting point. Whatever answers you gave me just now, they're absolutely right. Everyone should have some knowledge about finance, demand, supply, all those things are right. But what I'm saying is that comes afterwards. Whatever you answered, they're definitely correct, but they come afterwards. So what's the starting point? Because I've asked a question on the subject itself, on the existence of the subject itself. So that is why to find the answer, we need to go to the starting, to the beginning. Correct. And the answer I'm going to give also, all of you know the answer to this question. So let me answer the question. So the question was, why have we got a subject called as economics, or how this subject economics has evolved as a separate branch of studies over a period of time? The answer is, there is a subject called economics, or a subject named as economics has evolved because of two fundamental problems of the economy. So the answer is, there is a subject economics because of the two fundamental problems of the economy. Correct. So I just answered that because of two problems, two fundamental problems, we have a subject called as economics. That means what I'm indirectly saying, had those two fundamental problems not been there, we would not have heard of a subject whose name is economics. So that means the villains are the two fundamental problems. That's what I'm saying. Now, the next question you may ask, or that will automatically crop up, is what are those two fundamental problems? And I was saying that all of you know the answer to the question. And that what are the two fundamental problems? Number one fundamental problem, or some economists, they call it as a basic problem of the economy. Number one problem is just a second, just a second. Class rate. Okay, so the two fundamental problems. One of the so I just said there are two fundamental problems for which we have a subject called economics. And am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the first fundamental problem is human wants are unlimited. Human wants are unlimited. That is the first fundamental problem of the economy, and for which we have a subject called economics. That is the second problem, but let us deal with the first one. My first question to you, do you agree to this statement or to the problem statement I just made? Human wants are unlimited. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely. Human wants are unlimited. It is unlimited for you. It is unlimited for me. It is unlimited for anyone else. Correct. Everyone else. Now, interesting thing is to understand how human wants are unlimited. You see, that means there is no end to ends. Correct. There is nobody who can say that he has done, or he or she has done with all his wants. Or none of you can say your last wish was to study BTech at CGU. Correct. That was the last wish. Thereafter, there is no wish. That was the last wish. You cannot certainly say. Second interesting thing to understand and observe is human wants are unlimited. That is true. But the moment you satisfy one of your wants, knowingly or unknowingly, several other wants, they crop up. When, what I said, that when you satisfy one of your wants, knowingly or unknowingly, you end up creating several other wants. For example, and you know,
सही में यार
those who are unmuting themselves and they're talking, and so they're basically exposing themselves. So please don't do that. I know what students do in online classes. So assuming few students are interested, assuming a handful of students are interested, please don't unmute. Please don't unmute. You continue doing what you're doing, but please don't unmute. That is creating problems in the class. Okay, so as I was saying, the interesting thing to observe is that the moment you satisfy one of your wants, you end up creating several other wants. For example, if we'll go back to, let's say, to the period of 2001, when that mobile service was launched, and it was a new thing for we Indians. what kind of handsets were in use? All of us know that bulky Nokia or Samsung handsets, black and white handsets, and there are hardly one or two functions of that handset. You can make a call. Second thing, you can send a text message. Again, that used to be very costly, and you had to take care of the characters, number of characters you had to type, because if it exceeds by one character, it will take 2 messages. So, and say a third thing, there are some basic games. That time it was not boring. I am seeing it boring right now because we have so many interesting games these days. But that was the basic function of that handsets, correct? So, but now you see how human wants are multiplying. These days now we are no more using those handsets. We are using smartphones. 4G, 5G handsets have come to market. Now, suppose you wanted a handset. Suppose you want a handset, smartphone. You purchase one handset. So that means what I'm saying, you have a need, you have a want. I said human wants are unlimited. You have a want. One of your wants is that you want a handset, a smartphone. So you purchased one smartphone. Now, do you realize how many other wants you created at the same time while satisfying one of your wants, this smartphone? So, since you have purchased this handset, this smartphone, what are the other things now you need to buy? And you know that better than me. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, headphones, they don't come freely anymore. Headphones, selfie sticks, power banks, back cover, flip cover, so many things. I have missed out on some other things also. So,
Also.
yes, sorry.
So charger also.
Charger, it doesn't come with the mobile phone these days.
No sir, iPhone is doesn't giving charger.
Okay. So, yes, so this is another addition to the list I was making. So, you see that what happened? So, you just satisfied one of your wants, but knowingly or unknowingly, you have created several other wants. So that is why, let me finish this point quickly so that we can move faster. So that is why, so this proves that human wants are never limited, they are always unlimited, and they keep on multiplying, correct? If you had 100 wants, going forward, you will have 150 wants, not 50 wants, correct? So that way. So number one fundamental problem is human wants are unlimited. Correct. That is one. Number two, human wants are unlimited. Number one. Number two is resources are limited. The number two fundamental problem for which we have a subject called economics is the resources to satisfy these unlimited human wants are awfully limited. Do you agree? Again, do you agree? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely. So the resources are limited. So now when we are saying resources are limited, what does it mean? It necessarily means resources are limited for me, for you, for CGU, correct? But what about Mukesh Ambani? Mukesh Ambani, the richest person of Asia, I guess Jack Ma surpassed him, but he used to be, or maybe he's still the number one, the richest person of Asia continent. Do you think Mukesh Ambani's resources are limited?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No? Okay. So I was expecting this answer.
Actually,
Oh.
sir, the resources are same for us as for Mukesh Ambani, but the point is that he has more access to those limited resources.
Okay, correct. So you see, I agree as well as disagree with you. You said resources are same. You see, from that perspective, you cannot say, but I agree. He has access because he has money, right? We don't have money, so we don't have access. We have very limited access. He has, like some of you said, yes, no, but I'll disagree to the earlier answer when you said no. Even for Mukesh Ambani, resources are limited by his standard. By his standard. Why then Attila is only having 27 stories? That Attila, the house of Mukesh Ambani. Why it is only 27 stories? It could have been 127 stories. Why is he charging? What is the recharge you are doing? 599. Why is he charging 599 from you? He could have made it only 99. So what I'm saying is, even resources are limited for him also. Despite he being the richest person of Asia, he is still having limited resources by his own standard. Maybe he wants to do a lot more than what he's doing. Correct. So even resources are limited for me, resources are limited for you, resources are limited for an individual like Mukesh Ambani. Resources are limited for United States of America, the richest country in the world. Even for USA, the resources are limited. So resources are limited for everyone. There is nobody in this world for whom the resources are unlimited. Correct? So everyone, each one, be it an individual or be it an organization or be it a country, for them resources are always limited. They're limited. They're so much limited that they cannot satisfy the unlimited ones they are having. Correct. So coming back to these two fundamental problems. Number one, human wants are unlimited. Number two, resources are limited. Now, these two fundamental problems mark the birth cry of economics. Now, imagine a situation. Now, why economics? No, I said because of the existence of these two fundamental problems, a subject takes birth, and that is called as economics. Now, take a moment to realize this. Had this been the case that the resources are unlimited, let us imagine, let us hypothetically assume that the resources are unlimited. Then there would not have been any problem. You know why economics? I said economics has evolved as a separate branch of studies because of these two problems. Because of the mismatch between these two fundamental problems. On one hand, we have unlimited desires, unlimited wants, but on the other hand, the resources to satisfy these unlimited wants are awfully limited. So there is a mismatch. As I said, had this been the case that the resources would have been unlimited, then there would not have been any problem in the economy, in the country, because you have unlimited desires or wants. You just go on satisfying your unlimited wants by using your unlimited resources. So there is no problem. There is no problem. But this was only assumption. The reality is, the bitter truth is, we do not have unlimited resources. Rather, we have limited resources, and now this creates a problem. So a problem gets created, and what is that problem? You cannot satisfy your unlimited wants. The problem you're going to face if you're an individual or an organization or a country is that you cannot satisfy all your wants. And there, a subject takes its birth, and the name is economics. And what is the job of economics? The role of economics is to guide us, guide individuals, guide organizations, guide the countries, their policymakers, regarding what? Regarding how to judiciously use the limited resources for the satisfaction of maximum wants. Mark the words I am using. How to use the resources efficiently, effectively, judiciously for satisfying maximum wants. I said maximum wants. I did not use the word satisfying unlimited wants because that is beyond possibility. That is not possible. What is not possible? Satisfying our unlimited wants is never possible. So what is the next best alternative? If it is impossible to satisfy your unlimited wants, what's the next best option? Next best option is you try and satisfy as many wants as possible. That would be the better option. So if you are satisfying 100 wants, you try and satisfy 120 wants. If you have 500 wants, that cannot be numbered. Just for the sake of simplicity, I'm saying. Suppose you have 500 wants. Now it is impossible to satisfy all these 500 wants. So what is the next best option? You satisfy as many wants as possible. If instead of 100, you can satisfy 150 wants, that is always better. And economics is of immense help towards realizing this goal. What is that goal? I just said, just to reiterate, how to satisfy maximum human wants by judiciously, effectively, efficiently using our limited resources. Correct. So this is the reason, basic reasons why we have a separate branch of studies known as economics. Correct. So I hope all of you understood what is economics, or why we have a separate branch of studies called as economics. So, okay, so coming back to the slide, just a second, getting a call. Hello? Join karo. I don't know. I haven't logged the classroom. Okay. Okay. So coming back to the slide, what is economics? It is a social science of how limited resources are used to satisfy maximum human wants. I just made that point. So what is engineering? Since you are into engineering, you should be knowing it better than me. In general, what is engineering? Engineering is the application of scientific, economic, social, and practical knowledge in order to design, build, and maintain structures, machines, devices, systems, and materials. Quite an exhaustive definition, but this is true. This is engineering, correct? Is the application of scientific, economic, and social and practical knowledge to either to design or to build or maintain all these things. Now, what is engineering economics? It is a combination of both the subjects, engineering plus economics. We'll soon go for a definition of engineering economics. You may get a 2-mark question on what is engineering economics. Just a second. Okay. Now, let us have a word about the resources. I said resources are limited. So let us see. What do we mean by resources? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, resources, land or natural resources, all gifts of nature such as water, air, minerals, sunshine, plant, tree growth, as well as the land itself, which is applied to the production process. So, land or natural resources, out of that, some of the resources are renewable, but some other resources are non-renewable. Correct? So, needs no explanation. All of you know this resources: water, air, minerals, sunshine, plant, tree growth. All these are come under land or natural resources, out of which I just said some are renewable, some are non-renewable. Labor, another resources is labor. And what is labor? You see, in economics, we make use of the word labor in a very broad sense. Correct? Now, all of you know what is the meaning of labor. The moment this term comes, labor, we think of perhaps we think of a person who is dirty, who is wearing dirty clothes and is digging the soil, or maybe working at a construction site. No, so that is the usual perception of a labor. But in economics, as I said, we make use of the word in a very broad sense. And what is labor? The efforts, the skills, and the knowledge of people which are applied to the production process. So, labor from economics point of view, I am also a labor. So whosoever is rendering some kind of service or giving his or her efforts, or he or she is showing some kind of skills or sharing the knowledge, they all come under the category of labor. So even I am also a labor from the economics perspective. Correct. So that is the meaning of labor. Please understand, we make use of the word in a very broad sense, labor, and that is also a resource. And the third one is capital. Third one is capital. And again, this term also, the ordinary meaning of capital is something else. And in economics also, we make use of the word in different sense. And or I can say in a very broad sense. In general, what do you think about capital? Other than the dictionary meaning of capital, Bhubaneswar is the capital of Odisha. Delhi is the capital, New Delhi is the capital of India. That is, forget about that. So capital, by capital, we usually refer to money. Correct. Usually we come across statements like, I want to invest, but I don't have the capital. He is having a shortage of capital, all these things. So here the word capital is used to refer to money. Correct. But that certainly is right. Money is definitely considered as capital. But apart from money capital, we have other types of capital. One is real capital. Real capital, physical capital. And what is that? The tools, the machines, the factory building, all these are also considered as real capital. Tools, buildings, machinery, these things which have been produced, which are used in further production. Correct? They have been produced, but why are they produced? They are produced to help further production. That is why at times it is called capital is produced means of production. The machine, the tools, the equipments, they help in production, but they have also been produced now. They have also been manufactured. So that is real capital or physical capital. Think of machines, tools, equipments. They come under capital. Financial capital, I just told, money. And another concept of capital which is gaining a lot of popularity these days is human capital. Human capital, education and training applied to labor in the production process. Correct. India, we keep saying, or many economists, they keep saying, India is the second largest country in the world in terms of population, but the quality of human capital is not that good. What does it mean? It can mean many things. The literacy level, the skill level, all these are not at par with some other countries, let's say USA or China. Correct. So human capital is also another concept of capital that is used in economics. So this is in brief about the resources. Now we can just a second. Okay. Now this is also a question that comes in the exam, or that is normal to discuss also. Why do engineers need to learn about economics? Why do engineers need to learn about economics? But you can ask, you could have asked this question also. Why do engineers need to study, learn about economics? You can ask, why are we supposed to learn about economics? So let us discuss that. I can make it a bigger one also. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So why do engineers need to learn about economics? That is absolutely a right question, because you see, economics is considered as a humanities subject. Correct. And engineering is entirely different. So it's very natural to ask that what is the job of economics in engineering? What does economics do in engineering? Or indirectly, why do engineers need to learn about economics? So now this has got something to do with the discussion I had on why we have a subject called economics. Those two fundamental problems. So ages ago, the most significant barriers to engineers were technological. The things that engineers wanted to do, they simply did not yet know how to do or hadn't yet developed the tools to do. Now, ages ago, long back, 50 years, 100 years back, correct? What was the main challenge before the engineers? And it was purely technological. Ages ago, 50 years, 100 years back, the challenges before the engineers were purely technological. If you'll go back further to the time when those starting point of this human race, correct? I assume you have read a little bit about history also. Stone Age, let's go back to Stone Age and other ages, correct? So, you know a little bit about history also, like how human beings were hunting. Fire was invented, even fire was not there, correct? So they used to rub two stones to make fire, and they used to go about hunting with the use of stones and other things. So this suggests, so you see, they were struggling to eat. They were eating foods in raw form. So they didn't enjoy that. Subsequently, they invented fire, correct? And now they could cook their food, correct? Gradually, so all these processes were very gradual. So those problems were technological. That's what I'm saying. They were technological. More or less, they were technological. Technology was not very good. So slowly, what you saw over the period of time, technological progress. And if we'll go back to 17th century, we had industrial revolution in United Kingdom, and soon that spread to the entire world. Industrial revolution. Before the 17th century, the industries were not functioning the way they are functioning these days. Correct. Thanks to that industrial revolution of the 17th century, we see a lot of progress on the field of industries. Correct. So even during 17th century also, those steam engines were invented and many other inventions were there. So that was technological. Even they had this challenge of inventing something related to engine. So James Watt invented that steam engine, correct? So there are so many scientists, so many engineers who developed so many things, and those were purely technological, and the engineers, they accepted those challenges and they came up with path-breaking innovations, correct? Now, the challenges before the modern day engineers, one cannot say is purely technological. The challenges that we have, or the challenges before you, the modern day engineers, is not purely technological. Yes, there are some technological challenges, but it is not purely technological that as they used to be. So then what kind of challenges facing the modern day engineers? These two challenges. There are certainly many more challenges like this which face present day engineers. Number one is natural resources from which we must build things are becoming more scarce and more expensive. Do you agree or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now you see, this challenge was not there like 50 years back or 100 years back, because there are plenty of natural resources then. If you talk about time period of 100 years back or 200 years back, or during industrial revolution time, there was no scarcity of natural resources. It was plentifully available. But these days, what do we find? That natural resources are becoming more and more scarce. And since there are more and more limited, correct? And naturally, if it will be limited, then it will be expensive. Something which will be limited will be expensive. So this is a challenge before the modern day engineers. This was not there as a challenge before the engineers who used to be there 50 years or 100 years back. So we have a new challenge in terms of the depletion of natural resources. We are extracting, we all know the minerals that is there under the ground, they are going to be exhausted very soon. Coal, petroleum, everything else, they are going to be very exhausted. Sorry, they're going to be exhausted very soon. So the challenge before the engineers is, the modern day engineers is, to come up with some alternatives, It's not that they're not working. They're working tirelessly, relentlessly to work, and some success have also been there. That is the reason why we see electric cars, electric bikes on the road. Correct, because engineers are working. Like, because we know petrol or diesels are not going to be available after some years. So how to come up with some alternatives? That is a challenge. Second challenge that I will talk about in detail in next class is the negative side effects of engineering innovations. Engineering innovations are not unmixed blessings. Yes, the good things are in engineering innovations have made human life so easy. Yes or no? So easy. For example, the example I am citing, smartphones or even mobile phones. Correct. We can communicate, we can be connected with anyone on the go. Correct. Imagine when these mobile phones were not there. Correct. So landlines were there. Even before, when landlines were not there, what problems were there? So all of you know the problems. So fact is, engineering innovations have made human life so easy, so comfortable, but it has its own flip sides. It has its own side effects, and we all know about the side effects. One example it cites is air pollution from automobiles. Automobiles have made human life so easy. It's very easy to commute from one place to other place in matter of minutes or hours. But the flip side is it is damaging the environment, correct, because of the emissions. So vehicular emissions are problems, correct. So another problem, challenge before the engineers is how to reduce the negative side effects of the engineering innovation. That is another challenge, correct. So we'll discuss. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being present.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
PDF.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Take care.
Hello, sir. Can you share the PDF?
Yes, I'll share, but how? We need to have a WhatsApp group.
Sir, you can share your number, sir.
Will you make the group?
Okay, sir.
Please note down my number.
Yes, sir.
985
985
33
33
55
55
283.
283. Okay, sir.
Why do people underestimate civil engineers in India? Someone asked. This is generalization. For example, I don't underestimate civil engineers. Correct. So there is always a time for that. You know, there was a time when computer science was in demand. There was a time when mechanical engineering was in demand. So a time will come. When civil engineers will be in demand. So don't be disheartened.
Sir, your name?
My name is Kali Prasad Satpathy. Alok, I hope I can understand. But I agree. For example, I should not be saying, but yes, I agree. Somehow I agree to you, but personally speaking, I don't underestimate. So,
Yes.
but perception needs to change. Absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
Yes.
Perception needs to change. Correct. So you are from civil, right, Alok?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the onus is on you also. You do your bit so that perception is going to change. You do your bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See you in next class. Thank you.
Thank you,
Alok.
sir.
Okay.